Hey everybody, my name is Coach John Kelly from Live Free Miami, and I'm on a mission to live a life of health, happiness, and freedom, and help you do the same. In today's video, we're gonna talk about the #1 mistake people make when trying to lose body fat, and that is under-eating. You see, for most people, they think that in order to lose body fat, they need to eat less food and exercise more. While that might work in the short term, in the long term, your body is gonna adapt to that strategy. Your body is gonna slow its metabolism to the fewer and fewer calories that you're eating. And after about a couple weeks, it's no longer gonna be losing fat, it's gonna start losing muscle. On top of losing the muscle, you're going to create hormonal changes that are going to hurt you in the long term. The problem with eating too little is that you lose muscle. And if you lose muscle, your metabolism slows. And because you're starving yourself, it's unsustainable. Because it's unsustainable, you end up falling back into your old habits. And then when you start eating more food and your metabolism is slower, you gain all the weight back plus more fat because you have less muscle. There's a direct correlation between muscle mass and body fat. As you increase muscle mass, you lower body fat, and vice versa. As you lose muscle mass, you increase body fat. So if you're overweight, what do? Well, first things first, if you're more than 20% body fat, instead of thinking about eating less, we need to think about your entire lifestyle. We need to focus on exercise, building muscle, sleep, and eating good nutrition. Eating good nutrition helps because good nutrition is full of nutrients and low in calories. So if you're eating whole foods, you're going to see natural fat loss as long as you're sleeping and exercising. If you just cut your calories and start exercising a lot, your body's gonna crash and burn. Now, if you're somebody who's under 20% and you're trying to get to those single-digit body fat numbers, then what you need to do is assess where you're at before you start cutting things out. You need to see how many calories you're actually eating before you start cutting things from your diet. So you need to start documenting everything you eat. This will allow you to see where you're at. If you go from 2,000 calories to 1,200 calories, your body's gonna go into shock. It's gonna lose weight initially and then begin to lose muscle. The secret is to see where you're at and then slowly lower your calories from there. So if you're eating 2,000 calories a day, you start with 1,800 for a week or two. You'll see some loss, then you move to 1,600. You'll see some loss, and little by little, you'll be able to get to the body fat numbers that you want. When it comes to fat loss, everybody's different. So when you eat, you have to make sure you're eating for your body type, your genetics, and your lifestyle. Because everybody's different, one of the best ways to figure out what you should be eating is to go by your body type. There's 3 kinds of body types. There's the ectomorph, the mesomorph, and the endomorph. The ectomorph is the person with a small waist and very little body fat. For ectomorphs, it can be challenging to put on muscle mass. The mesomorph is your typical strong-looking caveman build person with big shoulders, a medium-sized waist, and they're very muscular. The endomorph is typically someone who's bigger in the waist and rounder in the belly. Each body type requires a different strategy in order to lose fat. If you're an ectomorph and you have a hard time putting on muscle mass, then you want to try splitting your macros at 25% protein, 55% carbs, and 20% fat. The reason you want to have this split is because carbs and protein work very well together to build muscle. And keeping your fat low is going to help you eat more carbs and protein so that you have the fuel to build that muscle. The mesomorph body type is going to be 30% protein, 40% carbs, and 30% fat. Because the mesomorph puts on muscle easier, they don't need as much carbohydrates, so they can get by with a little bit more fat. The endomorph is 35% protein, 25% carbs, and 40% fat. Usually endomorphs are much more sensitive to carbohydrates, so if they eat too many, they gain weight easily. So keeping them on the lower side lowers insulin levels and allows you to have enough protein to stay satiated and build muscle. Guess what? Nobody is just one body type. All of us are a blend of body types. Although we can be more dominant body types, none of us are specifically one body type. Myself, I'm more of a mesomorph with an endomorph. I got no ectomorph in me. So if I'm eating too many carbs, I gain weight easily. So I have to eat more protein and more fat specifically so that I can stay lean. So now you should be asking yourself, well, what kind of foods should I be eating in order to lose body fat? Simple, whole foods, things with one ingredient. So when it comes to protein, we're looking at meat, fish, eggs. If you're a vegan, you can do something along the lines of beans and lentils. For carbohydrates, you want to stick to complex carbohydrates. Carbohydrates that have a lot of fiber. Again, beans, lentils, quinoa, sweet potato. And when it comes to fat, you want to stick to the good fats. You want to stick to nuts, avocado, and oils such as coconut oil or avocado oil. A lot of meats also have fat in them, so just be aware, whatever meats you choose, to look at the fat content and not use too much fat. Because fat is the most calorically dense nutrient. For every 1 gram of fat is 9 calories. Protein and carbs are only 4 calories per gram. So you have to really be careful on what fat you eat. Putting this all together means you need to have a lifestyle built around losing fat, not just cutting your food and exercising more. Sleep is super important. Hydration is super important. Working out, super important. And eating the right foods. So until you get all those things lined up, don't worry about cutting your calories to an extremely low number. Just do it one step at a time. If you guys have any questions, feel free to come see us at Live Free Miami and we'll help you out. Like, share, subscribe.